I'm about to walk you through my top 10 holdings in my portfolio for 2026, starting from number 10 and working all the way up to my highest conviction stock. But here's why you should stick around. At the very end, I'm going to reveal the one stock I don't own yet, but I've been eyeing it like a hawk for months, even years. And I'm fully prepared to make it a huge position, a top 10 position, the moment the market gives me an opening. And it's a name most people overlook, despite being one of the most genuinely delightful companies out there. So definitely don't skip ahead. And I won't just be sharing my top 10 stocks, but also how long I've owned each one and how much I've made since day one of ownership. Because the holding period is a crucial part of the story, not just the position. Ownership alone doesn't tell the full picture. The time you've held a stock is an even more critical detail, in my opinion. All right, let's jump into the list, shall we? Starting with number 10. Number 10 is Netflix, which I've owned for just over 7 years at a 141% gain. I own Netflix because being first to market in video streaming 18 years ago gave it an advantage that never fully went away. That early lead let Netflix build a global subscriber base, train viewers to think of it as the place to watch content, and invest in original programming like Squid Games and Stranger Things long before rivals even launched their platforms. Netflix is now available in over 190 countries, and their launch of the standard with ads tier in late 2022 was a massive success, leading to the stock appreciating from $29 in late 2022 to $108 today. Even with heavy competition today, Netflix still holds the largest share of the streaming market because it set the standard, scaled before anyone else, and continues to out-execute on content, distribution, and global reach. At number 9 is Costco, which I've owned for over 5 years at a 152% gain. What I love about Costco is despite the fact that it's a discount retailer, people from all walks of life shop there religiously. Yes, even the wealthy. In fact, the typical Costco consumer earns an annual income of $125,000, 70% higher than the US median income of $71,000, and has a 4-year degree. They boast a 93% renewal rate. People just love Costco because it's basically a masterclass in operational excellence. The membership model is a cash superpower. International expansion is still early, and they reward shareholders with reliable dividends. At number 8 is Amazon, which I've owned for just over 3 years at a 33% gain. Amazon is my only holding in my top 10 that is both not founder-led and doesn't pay a dividend. But even so, the business is too powerful to ignore. I believe they now deliver more packages than FedEx and UPS. And did you know Netflix, Meta, owner of Instagram, Facebook, and WhatsApp, and McDonald's all run on Amazon Web Services, aka AWS? It's the backbone of global software. And guess who created AWS? Current CEO Andy Jassy. So while it's not led by its founder, Jeff Bezos, he's a close second given his track record. AWS is the most profitable arm of Amazon, not retail. And let's not forget about Whole Foods. They also own approximately 15 to 19% of Anthropic, the company behind Claude, which is one of ChatGPT's biggest competitors. Number 7 is VTI, the Vanguard Total Stock Market ETF, which I've owned for just over 7 years at a 93% gain. VTI is my quiet compounding machine. Broad US exposure, ultra low fees, and steady long-term growth. It's the foundation that supports my higher conviction individual picks. What I love about owning VTI is through this holding, I own all the top US companies. It's less volatile than individual stocks during a market downturn, and it pays a healthy dividend each quarter that I automatically reinvest into the stock. Number 6 is Meta, which I've owned for less than a month at a 3.5% gain. If you visit my channel, you'll see I have several videos discussing my recent entry into Meta stock and the reasons I've made it a top position in my portfolio. They build the best social tools on the planet: WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook, and Messenger, used by 3.5 billion monthly active users. That's nearly half the global population. It's still run by its super young and ambitious founder. The company is printing cash, buying back shares, paying dividends now, and pushing hard into AI. These platforms are woven into everyday life more deeply than people admit. Number 5 is Prologis, which I've owned for just over 6 years at a 36% gain. Prologis is the infrastructure behind online commerce. They own and manage around 1.3 billion square feet of warehouses, distribution centers, and logistics hubs. It's diversified, pays a consistent dividend, and benefits from permanent structural demand for storage and fulfillment space. Their biggest tenants? Amazon, followed by Home Depot, FedEx, UPS, and Walmart. Number 4 is Apple, which I've owned for nearly 13 years at a whopping 1,290% gain. A true testament to the power of compounding when you hold a stock for a very long time. Apple owns the world's most profitable and beloved ecosystem. The loyalty is insane, the services segment keeps growing, and they return tons of capital through dividends and buybacks. Apple continues to be the operating system of a modern life. I can't live without my iPhone, my AirPods Pro, my iPad, or MacBook Pro. Hell, without those products, I'd have a much harder time getting these videos recorded and uploaded for you guys. Number 3 is NVIDIA, which I've owned for over 4 years at a 695% gain. NVIDIA is the engine behind the AI boom. Founder-led, visionary, and supplying the compute power every major company needs. Whether it's data centers, robotics, training, or inference, NVIDIA is the category killer. You know ChatGPT, the fastest growing web app in history, now used by hundreds of millions of people per day globally? Well, it runs on tens of thousands of NVIDIA chips. And so does Tesla, Microsoft, Meta, Amazon, and even Google. If you think AI is going to be around for the next 5 to 10 years or more, owning NVIDIA is a no-brainer in my opinion. Number 2 is Google's parent company, Alphabet, which I've owned for 4 years at a 140% gain. Google dominates search, digital advertising, YouTube, and increasingly AI. It's founder-built, pays dividends, and has insane optionality across cloud, autonomous vehicles, and new platforms. It's still one of the most misunderstood giants in tech, in my opinion. And while it's not founder-led anymore, you ever heard of Chrome? The number 1 most used internet browser in the world? Yeah, that was created by the current CEO of Google, Sundar Pichai. There are so many exciting projects underway at Google, including Gemini, a top ChatGPT competitor, Waymo, self-driving rideshare vehicles operating in California, Texas, Arizona, and many more states to come, and YouTube, which dominates living room TV streaming. And finally, my number 1 holding, Tesla, which I've owned for over 4 years at a 102% gain. To me, Tesla is the best real-world AI company, period. Not just cars. Autonomy, robotics, manufacturing breakthroughs, and energy storage. Owning Tesla is like owning a cluster of super fast-moving startups operated by the top engineers in the world. Founder-led by possibly one of the top entrepreneurs and capital allocators ever in history. It's vertically integrated with over 70,000 supercharging stations globally and counting, 6 massive gigafactories built from scratch in Germany, China, and in the US, and pushing into multiple trillion-dollar sectors simultaneously. Owning Tesla means owning several exponential curves at the same time. Full self-driving software is indistinguishable from magic, and that's a first-hand testimonial. I've owned a 2018 Model 3 for 4 years, and its brain has evolved to the point where 90% of our driving in crazy, trafficy LA is self-driven by the AI software. 90% in a 7-year-old car. I'm hugely bullish on Tesla, and despite the crazy volatility this stock often experiences, I'm super happy with it being my top position by a landslide. Now, as promised, here's the one stock I don't own, but I'm waiting for the perfect pullback to load up. TJX. TJX owns TJ Maxx, Marshalls, and HomeGoods, or HomeSense in other countries like Canada. And let me tell you, every time you walk into one, it's just pleasant. The experience is fun. It feels like treasure hunting. The value is real. And best of all, this business thrives in good times and in bad times. When the economy is strong, people love the deals. When it's weak, people rely on them. That combination of consistent demand and an actually enjoyable customer experience is rare. TJX is a machine, and I'm watching it closely, waiting for the right entry. So there you go. That's my top 10 and the one I'm watching. One important note. Every company that I own in my top 10 holdings, with the exception of Amazon, is either A, founder-led, and or B, pays a quarterly dividend that I've set up to automatically reinvest in the stock. This is a strategic decision, as founder-led companies outperform non-founder-led companies over long periods of time. And dividends? Well, that's literally just free cash. In my case, thousands of dollars hitting your bank account every 90 days. So, what do you think of my portfolio? Comment below. Let me know what you think and share your top 5 or top 10 holdings. I'd love to hear what you guys own. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe. I'll talk to you guys soon.